Welcome to the T2 Hubcast. Join Martin, Dave, Spencer and guests as they discuss all things personal and professional development. The T2 Hubcast, brought to you by the People Performance People.
So, welcome to another T2 Hubcast with me, Martin Johnson, and
me, Mike Aramayo.
Mike Aramayo, Managing Director of Buoyant Upholstery.
Yeah, correct.
I've been excited about recording this Hubcast because, as the listeners know, we do various Hubcasts at T2 with Dave and Spencer and myself, and it's really good. We do insight on particular topics and subjects and our areas of expertise, but sometimes we like to bring external guests in. Usually from the world of business, sport, or the military, and we just grill the mic on, or we don't even grill them. We just have a conversation for half an hour, and we see if we can pick your brains on a few things and debate a few things, and hopefully the listeners will take something away from it. So, Mike Aramayo is Hull born and bred. His story for me is inspirational. It's a successful story. He started out I'll let him sort of elaborate on that in a second. Started out doing many jobs, then got into sales in the furniture industry, worked his way up from carrying a bag on the road, selling furniture, to working his way through the leadership ranks and eventually reaching the top echelons of Buoyant Upholstery. Are you a shareholder as well, Mike?
I am, yes. Yeah.
So you're managing director and shareholder of Buoyant. You've been at the company how long?
19 years, August the 1st. This year.
19 years. So I'm delighted to have you, Mike. We haven't planned anything, have we?
No.
This is completely off the cuff. So I'm going to steer a line of questioning. But before we do, Mike, will you just give the listeners a little bit of background to you? And because what we're going to talk about on this podcast a lot is around the sales stuff and around the account management and the relationship side. It's something you excel in, something you built your career upon, strong relationships. But just give us a bit of a snapshot of your journey to where you are today.
Okay, well, as I say, by the way, every conversation you have with Martin Johnson is a grilling. It always is. So don't let him fool you there. Hull lad, born and bred, Brands home all my life. Come from a big family, 7 of us. I'm the youngest, so obviously I never actually had my own bed till I was 13. I used to sleep in everybody else's beds when my brothers didn't come home during the night. So, but we had a great family life, great childhood. Went to Brands home High, left with a Spanish O-level. My father's Spanish, so that was one of my favourite subjects. Quickly realised that at the age of 24, I went back to university, did a sales and marketing degree, which I never actually finished because I never did the dissertation at the end, and things went wrong, and had a few diverse problems in my issues with my life, and ended up getting a divorce. But out of that came 2 absolute amazing children, Laura and Robert. And I'm pleased to say now I'm really good mates with my ex-wife, and it's a good collective dynamic again. But through there becomes lots of adversity and lots of moving around, jobs, this, that, and the other. And eventually I sort of found my forte in selling. I had the chat, which was good, because I certainly didn't have the looks. So the chat helped me along in lots of other ways as well.
And just to get there, Mike, to the listeners, the chat is a northern term for I had the gift of the gab. I could socialise, I could speak very well. Yeah, absolutely.
Talking to anybody at any level wasn't an issue for me. So moving on till I was like early 30s, I worked for Silent Night. Within 6 months of being a rep, I was national sales manager. Excuse me, Martin, sorry. And I eventually moved up through the ranks. I was there for 10 years. I joined Buoyant Upholstery, became national sales manager. Then I became sales director, then deputy managing director, and then managing director. And then I bought into a company that was doing not very well at the time. Yeah, a guy called Charles Wade owned it personally.
And Charles Wade is, am I right in saying Charles Wade is the late Charles Wade?
And Charles Wade is probably one of the biggest figures in the furniture industry in the UK, owning lots of brands like you've heard of G-Plan and people like that, Duresta, Parker Knoll, and he owned Buoyant at the time. So when I became MD, it was losing about 3.2 million. And he asked me whether I wanted to buy into it. And I said yes. And I scraped together 20 grand. God, I can't all of a sudden speak anymore.
Yeah, he's got man flu.
I scraped together 20 grand. I lent a few quid off a few different people. And I bought 10% of the business. And we went from there. And it was just 16, 17, 18 hours a day working very hard, building up a great sales force and trying to get over what I wanted out of the sales force and the way I wanted them to work became a successful formula for us. Not everybody works in the same way. I've got my very own unique way of working.
Yeah, I know that. And just to interject there, Mike, and you know, the reason why I wanted to record this Hubcast with you is because that journey is, I think, very interesting, probably for many listeners, in the fact that you've come from almost nothing into a sales role without any formal sales training. So there was never any sales methodologies or anything that you sort of like were picking up along the way, your own style and your own way. But to develop into those leadership roles and eventually into a major shareholder and managing director of the business, which was at the time losing money or not performing very well, and to sort of fast forward to today and turn that around on its head to the results Buoyant have been producing traditionally over the last 5 years is a phenomenal story and a turnaround. And why I wanted to get you on is because you've built a lot of that success on sales, on being a sales-led business and never letting your foot off the pedal in terms of finding new opportunities and growing accounts and expanding within and penetrating the marketplace and taking market share off other companies. So I don't know if you would agree, but you did put a lot of your chips on the sale, on your ability to sell and grow.
Well, listen, for me, I'm an out and out salesman. You know, I am the managing director, but I have 5 other directors: production director, financial director, logistics, and so on and so on. Each of them guys are professionals at what they do. I have no idea how to do their job. No idea.
Nor should you if you're doing your job correct.
And when I got them all together and I said, look, guys, I can't do your job. I don't know it. But what I do know is I'll get you the sales if you lads can make it, add it up, deliver it, make sure it's fine, develop it, design it. I'll get you the sales. Because sales is me. It's what I am. I have my own, like I said, unique way of selling. Selling for me is about being a personal thing that you've got to take at heart. First of all, I could never sell something I didn't believe in.
Right. So you hit a really good point here, and I just want to jump in there because we at Trans2, I always have two philosophies of sales, great sales, and you've already jumped into one. And again, we haven't planned this, right? But A, you have got to know your product or service inside out. Inside out. B, to your point, you have to be genuinely passionate and believe in your product or service for it to come alive.
Well, there's 2 bits you've said there. The genuinely passionate bit is the bit where genuine is I am known in the industry. I'm known, you know me, my friends know me, your friends know me. I say what I think, and sometimes it's not the right way to go.
Even people listening to this, Mike, there's an element of rawness to you. It's real. You know, there's no polish. There's no polish on there.
Charles Wade used to explain me as a rough diamond. That's what he used to say. My MD is a rough diamond. And I think that's probably what I am. I'm more of a market trader than I could run Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola would bore me to death. But genuinely, you've got to be honest with people. And that's what I'm known for in the industry. They know, they come to me at the NEC, all the other MDs, I have a look around my stand, but they know that if they ask me if I think it's any good, I'm going to tell them because I've got no way of, I don't like the grey area of life. I like black, I like white. And sometimes it doesn't do you well to be that honest.
Yeah.
But I find 99% of the time it's the way to go. You've got to be honest with people because then they trust you. Because if they trust you, they're always going to have a look at what you're selling.
Yeah.
Because they buy you first.
Yeah.
They buy you as a person.
Yeah.
And if you believe in what you're selling, they're going to have a look because they know you're going to look after them.
So let me ask you a question. Love that. But let me ask you a question. People say to me, Martin, but can't you be a good salesperson if you're not passionate about the product? For example, I'm selling cups, right? I'm selling mugs with your brand on the side of the mug.
Yeah.
I can't get that passionate about a bloody mug, right? The mugs are mugs. But what I say to that is, and this is where maybe Lindsay, you've sold furniture. Now, the question for me is Mike Aramayo passionate about furniture, or is Mike Aramayo passionate about delighting customers and building relationships? And can you get away with one or the other?
No, not a difficult question to answer. I believe you can sell anything if the product is worth selling.
So you have a value to the product, yeah?
Your cup, we need cups, we use them every day. You can't get passionate about a cup, but you can get passionate about the sale, about the service, about the way you handle the people, and you can get passionate about all those peripheral things, because in that instance, the product sells itself.
I love that, because anybody listening to this in sales, or any sales leaders or managers, if you are selling a transactional product where people can get it anywhere else, right? Let's say you are, right? I know we can always claim differentiation. We always like to think out, but if you are in an industry where you're selling something you can't overly get passionate about, I just want to pick up on replay on something Mike said then. You can be passionate about the peripherals of the sale. Love that. Passionate about your connections with the customers, your relationships, your service levels. You can get passionate about why you, even if the product itself is a transactional product.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because you've usually got, I sell designer-led furniture. So it's all about cutting-edge design, comfort, sit. My products are in stores, DFS, John Lewis, House of Fraser, Sofology, Oak Furniture Land, all the big players. We have lots of little players as well. But my product is only as good as the people that are delivering it. The product goes in. If the product then... Nobody's bothered about after sales. Nobody's bothered about following it up. Nobody's bothered about making sure the right swatches are with the right furniture, this, that, and the other. It all becomes, you sell it in once, but that's it, it's over. You don't get a second chance. You've got to, all of the peripheral things are probably as important as the initial sale. People sometimes want your product because it's the only one. We all want to buy an iPhone because iPhones sell themselves. But don't you get fed up when you're going to Apple and they're not interested? No, Apple are very interested. They'll go in, I've got a problem, I'll sort it out. I had a problem with my iPhone. It keeps freezing. Yeah, book an appointment. I'll sort it out for you. It's done. I love iPhone. Mercedes, they look after me. I go in, I've loads of problems with my Mercedes car. Why don't I go and buy a BMW? Because I love the people at Mercedes. They're great people. They look after me. And it's the reason I go back.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's not really about the car.
Yeah.
It's about the people who are going to look after me, because I know I don't want grief. I don't want aggro when I'm doing something. So when my guys are selling, they're selling the whole thing, not just the product.
Love that.
And it really boils down to honesty, relationships, and being trusted by who you're selling to.
Love that. So first salient point of this hubcast, because me and Mike have got the ability, if it allows us, we've got 30 minutes for this, and we can talk all day, right? So the first salient point, just to sort of what Mike's saying there is it doesn't matter what products or service you sell, right? You can get passionate about the peripherals and the process and the whole thing of sales, and not just the isolated products. If you've got a product you genuinely believe in and love, it's a double whammy. It's brilliant. Absolutely. If you're genuinely, people who sell art, who are into art, it's I mean, we run T2. We get to sell helping people and changing people's lives. Now it's a double whammy for me. But if you are the person selling cups or selling furniture or whatever it might be, and you're not overly passionate, you can be passionate about the peripherals, and that makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Love that, Mike. So next question for you. And this is literally my brain's working, so I'm just going to hit you on. A lot of our customers ask us questions around account management and account expansion. So they're landing a customer. The lot of mistakes salespeople make is they're landing a customer and they're doing an initial deal. And that initial deal in your world is to put a couple of lines of furniture in a store and see how well they sell. And then they walk on to the next one and they try and do the next one. What the great account managers do is they get a couple of lines or a couple of products in the organization, and then they're looking elsewhere. What else can we put into here? How else can we, upsell into this account? Can we expand our footprint within this customer? And that's where they generate more revenue from their customers. You seem to do this very well. And I know your history is you get one piece of furniture in a store. Before they know it, they've been a Mike Aramayo'd and they've got half a Buoyant's bloody catalogue in the store. You know what I mean?
I remember a long time ago, once threatening a retailer that if he didn't put some of my stuff on the store, I was going to ram raid his store during the night and put some product on his floor for him.
Is that a sales tip, or is that?
No, don't go down that road, by the way. But that's how you've got to be. You've got to be to the point where you believe in it so much. There's deals to be done everywhere. Everybody wants a deal. We do with all the major retailers. But you've also got to be clever. I've got sales reps who will deal with 3 or 4 shops within the space of 4 or 5 miles. You've got to give them different products. You've got to give them different fabrics. You've got to give them a different look. You've got to give them a feel that they're getting some exclusivity and they're getting protected as well. Because the man who goes around selling the same product to 6 different stores in the same town suddenly ends up with one shop and the other 5 won't deal with him again.
Yeah, because you're always going to get that attrition. You're always going to get,
So it depends on what he's selling. A lot of it's down to that. But a lot of it boils down back to the thing is being honest with people and not be afraid to say, yeah, your competitor up the road, we deal with him. But he ain't going to get what you're going to get. And test me out. Try and order what he's got through my company. They'll knock you back. Because there's a line on the account, etc., etc. So you've got to be honest with people. It's the main thing, and you've got to obviously boils down to give them a service.
Yeah. So you're more likely to expand the account if you're not afraid to do so, but also on whatever you've initially delivered in first few products. You've got to prove yourself first. So if you deliver the great service, you deliver a great product, it earns you the right to then be a bit bold about taking more and about.
Well, this NEC, the NEC January is the biggest furniture show in Europe. This NEC, we went a little bit more up market than we're very middle market, touching to top end. We went a bit top end of this year. And the reason we did so well is because people will come on the stand and they will give us an opportunity because they know that the service is brilliant, the product's made well, and if it stands up to what we're trying to sell, our average selling price went up over £157 per sofa, which is massive. The proof in the pudding is all this gear's going out and be delivered April, May time, whether it then repeats and sells out. We believe it will, they believe it will because they've put it on the floor. But they've given us an opportunity because they know that the basic product from us is brilliant.
So it comes back to your point. Deliver upon quality and value and the peripherals first time, it earns you the right to go after bigger things.
Absolutely.
The bigger things don't come without it, right?
No, you can expand.
Sometimes we try and expand before we've even built any relationship or delivered confidence.
You don't get anywhere until you've got the relationship, they've already tested you, it's proven, and you've been honest, and you've got that. Humour is a big thing, Martin.
Well, you're a Leeds United fan, so, you know.
Humour is a big thing. I'll probably move on past that because we play West Brom today, and if we lose, it's all over. But I have been laughing at myself buying a Leeds United season ticket for 40-odd years and thinking, I've got the best trick in the world. Just get passionate about a football team. You buy it no matter what rubbish you're watching.
Exactly.
Because it works with me.
Yeah.
It has done with me and my son. So humour is a big thing. And I'd like to think I've got a joke or two up my sleeve and I've got a story and this, that and the other. I feel sorry for the man who I look at. I suppose I'm a little bit judgmental in the fact that I look at some salespeople and they just don't inspire me.
Yes.
If people don't inspire me, I can't believe what they're saying.
Yeah, and I'm gonna back this up, right? What people also need to know listening to this. Now, we sit here 4 years in at T2. Today is actually the day we launch our first technology platform. We've doubled the business year on year and we've been very successful and that continues to grow. But Buoyant Upholstery and Mike Aramayo was my first ever customer.
We were.
And I'm going to back up to what you've just said. Mike didn't know the quality of our training. He'd not seen any of the slides. He didn't know the content. But within 30, 40 minutes of me pitching to you or me talking to you about what we could do for your business, you bought into me and you went, I don't care. We're doing it. And
because you've got a massive personality, you've got an infectious personality. Listening to your daughter last week on our podcast, by the way, she's the next Martin Johnson.
She is, yeah.
If you could teach her to add up. She'll tell you every single president from 1930, but 2 and 2, Nala, is definitely 4. But we'll move that on. I bought into you because your personality is huge and you inspire people. You're inspiration.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little thing about Martin. I'm part of the Prince's Trust and I was mentoring 11 to 13-year-olds. And at the end of it, they had to go in a workplace placement and they came here. And those kids listening to Martin and his team and the presentation they put on was no less than what they did to me. A paying customer full of a room of sales professionals. They had a room of 11, 12-year-olds. They got the same attention. That's the impressive thing.
Yeah.
That you don't let your levels drop just because from adults you're talking to children. You know, that says a lot about Trans 2 and the people who work here.
Yeah.
Because you are obviously very passionate and you care about what you're delivering.
And this comes back to your point there, which I liked, because I didn't get you on the show to not pull any punches, but I feel sorry for the man or woman, but you feel sorry for the person who doesn't have that natural ability or is not emotionally aware from an emotional intelligence perspective that they're not connecting and inspiring with another person. Because we talk about the first 10 seconds, Mike. When you walk through a door and you shake someone's hand and you look somebody in the eye, you know in 10 seconds whether you're going to do business with them or not. You do. Right? But by how people carry themselves and you go friend or foe, like, dislike, in or out within 10 seconds. Yeah. You can't afford to get that wrong, right? So having you can't really train for charisma or traits, but what you can do is become conscious. If you're not good at it, you're going to have to start doing something. Yeah. You're going to have to start making a change, and you do that very, very well.
But if you've got a massive personality, whether you know anything about what you're selling, this, that, and the other, you've got a massive personality, people will like you and they'll gravitate towards you. You can be taught anything.
You can.
But if you're absolutely Mr. I know every single inch of the product, but I don't know how to deliver it.
Yeah.
Pointless.
It is. No, it makes a really good point. So for people, listen, there's some people who have great product knowledge and they follow the sales process, and you wouldn't have any other person on the ship from a diligence perspective, but you have to be able to bring a product or service alive in the mind of the buyer. And to do that, you need to focus on the behavioral and the interpersonal aspect. Right. We've got 8 minutes left, Mike. 2 more questions for you. Okay. One of the things I observe in you, we talk about negotiation a lot. You are a little bit of an unconscious master at this. I observe you. I've never shared this with you, but I'm going to share it with you now. We have a saying at T2 which says, when we teach negotiation skills, that says, never concede, always trade. In the fact that when you're doing a deal, a customer doesn't say, right, Mike, you want $5,000, I'm going to give you 3 and you go done, right? What you do is some customer will say to Mike Aramayo, you want it $5,000, I'll give you 3. And you say something like, well, if I do that for you, this is what I want in return. Or I'll do that for you, but I want you to order 3 instead of 1. You're nodding at me, right? Never concede, always trade. Where does that come from in you? Why do you?
Because I believe that, I always believe that you go in at the price you need. Everybody's got a little bit of flexibility, and sometimes you haven't got the flexibility, but you give the flexibility anyway because you look at the longer term view. In the fact that you might have to buy your first your floor model or your second floor model, but number 3 and 4 you've built a relationship, but you start getting a little bit back, and it all starts coming round again, and everybody's happy. But for me, if they're getting something, they will give you something.
Yeah, it's the natural human thing, isn't it?
In their brain. They're like, if I've got something I've won, but giving this little thing back, which maybe sometimes is more important than the first thing to you, is they're willing to do that. So why you can't, it's boring. Just saying, yeah, deal, checking people's hands. I've been on a stand, I've flipped a coin for a deal. There's no way I'm going to flip a coin if I know if I lose, it's going to cause me problems.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm on a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Because if they win, they're over the moon. And if they lose, I'm over the moon. And you never stop talking about that for years to come.
And just to highlight the point of where you've done this on me, and you've got to be careful in business with bribery and all the rest of it. It's got to be a kosher deal. But even if it's not anything to do with the business deal, still look for an opportunity. So Mike was the first customer that I had. That was on merit, and you meant it. And as we were signing the deal, I don't know if you ever remember this, but you said, Martin, I'm running the London Marathon in April.
I did.
If I sign this, right, which I'm more than happy to do, will you sponsor me for the London Marathon?
I did.
And I instantly held my hand out and went, done.
You did.
Right? And I sponsored you a reasonable amount, right?
£1,000.
A reasonable amount to run the London Marathon, because that is an example of inaction. Never always just concede, look for a trade.
Well, that was brilliant because I ran that with a good friend of mine called Craig Rutter. We had to raise 3. So I said to him, look, a third of mine's done. You better get your finger out, Craig.
Absolutely.
So,
but that's in you, that hustle of not just conceding. But
Arafest, who we haven't touched upon yet, but it's
just 1 minute. Quickly explain Arafest.
Arafest is a festival that started from a staggered end do and is now a 2-event thing a year. Festival in June the 22nd. We are in Leven. Family and friendly festival that we've now raised over 60-70 grand for the children of Hull.
Wow.
3 different charities we support. It's now become a registered charity. And what's the first thing I do is I write to all of my customers asking them for some sponsorship. And I bet when they're writing the check, they're thinking, oh, God, not again, he's here again. But they don't really want to let me down because I don't let them down.
Yeah.
So Arafest, I use my contacts to help us raise a little bit of the cash. And rightly so, because...
And just to explain, Mike, where does the cash go to that you raise for Arafest?
Well, at the moment, we support Freedom Road, we support Beat Bus, and we support the Scrap Store. And you're one of the few people who've been to every single one, Martin. It's number 6 this year, and you've just ordered your tickets. And there's a few people who've been to every one, and it's getting bigger, and we do a ball at the Christmas, and that's amazing as well. And it's one of the most satisfying bits of my entire life to be able to give underprivileged children something that they wouldn't normally have got. And that stems from my son and daughter, who are both actors. Early doors having to pay to join Old Truck, and now they're professional actors and doing very well, giving these kids a chance to achieve what they've achieved.
Yeah, it's lovely, mate. It's wonderful. And this is the thing, for everything you are, the brash, the bravado, the straight talking.
Good looking.
Yeah, good looking, the at times controversial, let's say. There's a heart of gold in there which gives and which does Arafest and puts this thing on, and the coordination of it and the time and the effort. You don't
it's a big team.
You're running a company, you don't have to do it, right? So it is there. But coming back to our point, because I've got one more question for you. What you're saying there is, if you go through your life in a philosophy as it's okay to do things for other people, and it's okay to go first, and it's okay to do deals and to negotiate, but try to trade and not just concede, because it's a human instinct, certainly for salespeople, it's a human instinct to say, okay, Mr. Customer, we've always done that before where they go to you, Mike. I haven't got 10 grand, right? But I've got 7. And if you sign today, we'll do the deal.
Yeah.
So so the salesman's put under pressure. Good salespeople might go, well, I can't go to 7 grand because then it'll be a bad deal profit-wise. But if I can, before I agree, let me say, okay, but if I do this, I want that piece of work over there, or I want this in return. And that's a great tactic.
Well, that's just the art of selling, really.
Yeah.
I think you learn that over the years. I think you learn how to negotiate with your customers. And let's face it, I like a laugh and a joke, but there's some customers you've got to be straight up and down, very professional, do the deal, walk in, walk out, walk away.
Yeah.
They're 5%.
Yeah.
95% of people, they want to interact. They want a laugh. They want a bit of banter. They want to talk to you. They want to do a deal, and they want to feel as though they've come away with a fair deal.
Absolutely.
And they've got something out of you. But you're always going to get something out of them if you're honest.
Yeah, love it. Right, 2 minutes left, 1 minute, 50 seconds, Mike. Is there anything else you thought about or you want to finish with before we wrap it up?
I'm chuffed to be here. I love the fact that you're doing well. I love a local Hull lad having a go, putting his cojones on the table, so to speak. I know your family, I know your kids, I know your friends. I'm very, very happy to be a part of all of that big circle. And, what you're doing is amazing. And like I said, you are one of the first, I was your first customer, and you've had a few spin-offs since. We've had a few people who we've come across and, along the way and worked with each other and this, that, and the other. That's all very good, well and good. But for me, it's about where the next stage is, live your life to the full, enjoy it. But remember this, all of this, what we've talked about, nothing's more important than your family and your football team. and your dog. Oh, and don't forget your wife. Maybe not in that order, because I might not have nowhere to live when she listens to this later on. But you've got to have a good time as well, and you've got to respect your friends, respect each other, and you'll always come out on top if you keep a smile on your face.
Love it. Love it. And the last thing I'm going to say with 26 seconds left is not so long back, Mike Aramayo had a heart attack, a major life thingy.
Not the best day.
Not the best day of life. I'm going to finish with that because you've listened to this. This is only months on, larger than life.
Yeah.
You know, you can take anything on. You can
2
bounce
stents
back.
and I'm running again.
And I'm running, exactly. So Mike,
you made me run the marathon, don't forget.
Don't forget,
You signed me up without me knowing.
So 10 seconds left. Mike Aramayo, thank you very much. Love that.
It.
I'm going to get you back on for another one, because I thought it was insightful and we could talk all day.
Yeah.
But for salespeople listening, take heed. And we'll be back with another T2 Hubcast.
Thanks, Martin.
Thank you.